Hello, Railgun here once again with an analysis. This time it's once again a CVT. I started in the top right corner against the other Zerg in the bottom left, and this time I'm gonna focus a little bit more on the Lurker turtle. You'll soon see what I mean. We both start with basically the same build. My pool is a little bit later, his is a little bit faster. But all that doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna quickly go through this part of the game. Basically... he also skipped the Baning Nest. That's interesting, but it doesn't really concern. What I did is I went for the standard Mutalisk opener that you already play in Heart of the Swarm. While he went for double evolution chamber, lair, roach opener with I think it's a little bit of a late third, but we will see soon. So I take my third, he gets his roach warren at like 4:30 and is preparing for a push across the map with burrow. Now this is all just the early parts of the game. I add my spire, the same stuff like in Heart of the Swarm, like I said. It's just 4 gas, spire play. Here I try to kill his third base, but I sadly fail. He already has quite a few roaches. I'm already soon morphing the overseers to defend against his roaches, because it's pretty obvious that this is going to be roach burrow play. I can also see the roaches burrow in a couple of seconds. He does some smart moves with that, and we will definitely take a look at his roach burrow play as well. I'm going to take the game a little bit slower from here, at least for this part. So he tricked me a little bit there with his roach burrow play. He's now moving across the map to do damage to my bases. I immediately evacuated my third. I morphed overseers to defend against his roaches, and he just keeps doing damage to me. But I'm still fine. I'm still slightly behind in supply, but his roaches don't really do that much right now other than a little bit of damage. He built a lot more roaches, didn't really drone his third yet. Still has a nice saturation in his main and natural, getting the +2 attack right now while I have no upgrades. So he certainly has a lead in terms of upgrades. However, what I have going for me is basically just a high Mutalisk count, which will work really well in the late game once I have my Lurkers as well. So he's doing some more damage right here with his roaches. I'm morphing the Lurkers. He could have sniped them if he paid proper attention, but it's really easy to not see stuff like that in the midst of a fight. I mean, he also has to do macro and all sorts of stuff, so it's definitely understandable that he did not get the Lurkers there. He keeps doing more damage, just rallying roaches across the map doing damage. I already got quite a high mineral and gas count, but that's also fine in my opinion for this part of the game. I overthrown my third a little bit because I put the drones from my main there. I lost my natural against this roach burrow harass, but I'm still fine because the goal for me with this build is to get Mutalisks out, to get Lurkers out, and from then on, in my opinion, I've basically won the game, because there's nothing that really scares me right now that could kill me. So for the rest of this game, it's mostly going to be me doing damage to him, while he fails to do any sort of damage to me at all. I have Mutalisk to kill his roaches. I have a couple of Zerglings patrolling the map to find bases and do damage to him. I'm trying to keep his creep spread low. By keeping his creep spread lower, I'm able to do a lot of damage to him. Because with the low creep spread, he cannot put spores across the map, he cannot attack me with queens, which would work quite nicely against the Lurkers, because as we know, Lurkers do only 2/3 of the damage against unarmored units, or rather light armored units. So queens actually can take up to 9 hits from a Lurker, or even more depending on the upgrades. So I'm doing some damage here, losing a couple of lings as he is taking a 4th. I've already taken my 4th as well. This is a common setup that you'll see from me. A couple of Lurkers, a spore, a couple of Lurkers, a spore. This is what I do for the early game defense. I call this the early game defense despite this being a little bit late in the game, because I will keep investing more and more into my lurker defense. I also have a lot of mineral and gas because I'm not that confident with this build yet. I could obviously make like 13 mutas and try to do damage with them. Could maybe even overwhelm his Hydralisks, but they have 2-2 already, so that will probably not work. Now I'm adding more defense, more spines, spores, keep the lurkers behind them. Down here I didn't do that yet. Over here I'm adding it as well, adding some creep spread. Because I was a little bit behind economic wise in the mid game and I'm just now catching up to him. There's not that much going on right now, so I'm going a little bit faster. Basically what happens right now is he tries to expand. It's a little bit laggy, sorry. He tries to expand, I shut his expansion down. He expands anyways, I do damage. He builds up more army. Well, he is ahead in supply, but not ahead in terms of mineral and gas count. If you look at the units lost, he also lost a lot more. Now I'm taking a hidden expansion. This works really well with lurkers. I could easily defend it with a couple of lurkers, spines and spores, but I'm not even worried about him scouting it, so I'm not going to defend the base at all. I'm just trying to keep my Mutalisks with Overseer around and do damage to him and buy time to build up a bigger army. Now, this is where the next part of my composition comes into play, the Vipers. The Blinding Cloud is very important against him, and I need the Blinding Cloud against the Roach Hydras, and I need the Abduct against the Broodlords, and I'm not sure, I think I can even abduct Ultralisks in Legacy of the Void, because that was changed in a recent patch, but I never had to do that so far. I need to abduct the Broodlords into Spore Crawlers though. Now as you can see, he's not getting Broodlords right now, he's just staying on his Roach Hydra Queen composition, and he's trying to deal with my Mutalisks, building up an army that won't kill me. I'm also getting more upgrades on my Mutalisks. He still has some roaches here, probably forgot them. Oh, then nice couple of kills. I got Ultralisk Cavern, so I can add Ultralisks as well. I've used them in one of the pushes that I'll make. And I'm gonna go a little bit faster once again, because there's not that much going on. Here you see the classic Mutalisks down here, keeping his army occupied. Attacking over here with Zerglings. Shutting down his expansion attempt. Here he comes with his roaches again. Don't do that. I think they will clean up my Zerglings because I underestimated them a little bit. But then he walks into the lurkers and has to run away because he can't deal with the lurkers yet. And I'm just running around with my Zerglings to do damage to this base. My Mutalisks are over here to clean creep. My lurkers move into position to harass this base. So it's just I now switched from an overly defensive position into an aggressive position because I realized that he made himself more open to me. The way he did that is by expanding further away. He is now a lot more open to my Zerglings and Mutalisks attacks. I'm playing more of a fast composition while he plays a slow composition, but I also have the advantage in turtling by adding lurkers and spore crawlers. And of course spine crawlers. So here I take the next expansion immediately, I put down my spores, my spines, I'll move a couple of lurkers over there to keep it safe. The other lurkers that I wanted to have there died over here. Gonna go a little bit faster once again. He keeps adding Spire tech upgrades right now. He is also making quite a bit of a bank. I of course have a huge bank at units lost. I made an even bigger gap from 2k to 3k. Now I think he's now he's starting to move out to attack me, but I'm not sure if the attack happens just yet. I lose a couple of Mutalisks here, but that's fine. I mean, I can afford losing them. Of course, on the units lost tab it looks a little bit bad, but that's not the main concern. I just show it to kind of show what's happening in the game. Now this is my standing army that I use to attack. Doesn't look like much, isn't much, but it's enough. So he's now scouting my positions with his roaches to see, well, where can I attack him. He even tries to burrow. Well, this one just goes there, okay. He's now using changelings instead, which is obviously smarter to scout my bases. Well, I'm doing more and more damage with my lurkers. I once again move into position down here. Now this is a little fight right now with the gap is 2k. This was more of an experiment by me because I've never done anything like this either. And I just want to see how well can I fight him. So I try to abduct some units, see what happens when I abduct the units, how fast do they die. Now I'm using the cloud to do damage to him, and he's losing a lot of units, and I save my vipers so that I can use them again in a later battle. Now we both lost about the same amount. He lost a little bit more in that battle, of course I lost a couple of ultras and stuff, but it was still an okay exchange for me. But that battle didn't really matter, and I only had a really small army there anyways. So now I'm here once again to charge up my vipers, because the vipers are very important to this build. I built a couple more hydralisks to no wait, he built more hydralisks. I think I built more lurkers. Here I go again to harass one of his bases. And my mutalisks are on the... It's always the common thing you see in this build is my mutalisks are on one side of the map, and I harass with Ling, Hydra, Ultra Lurker or whatever units I have on the other side of the map. So I can do damage while staying safe. Now here he comes to attack me, and this will be the deciding battle of the game. Here you see what happens when he tries to engage into my army. The clouds go down, the blinding clouds on most of his army. The lurkers are out of range to even attack. His hydralisks and roaches go in. My supply, his supply. So I now made a huge dent into his army there because he tried to attack into my army. The vipers kept everything safe while I'm still down here harassing my base with his base with my mutas. I only had what's this, like 12 supply there to defend against his entire army. He's doing damage here because my spore is out of range, but that doesn't really matter. And basically to give you a quick summary what happened, I went for fast mutas, he went for roaches. I managed to defend and barely hold on with my mutalisks until my... where is it? Here it is. Until my lurkers appeared. With lurker, spines and spore crawlers I managed to stay safe until the later parts of the game. At which time I added vipers to use blinding cloud on his army and slow it down so that he can no longer win the fights. And my mobile mutalisk and Ling, well, kind of mutalisk Ling Hydra lurker composition also made it so that sorry, that my mutalisk could harass at one point while lurker and Lings were harassing another point of the map, so I could always had an advantage and could keep him in check and do damage everywhere so he could not attack me. And at the point at which he attacked me, I already had such a nice defense that his entire army just evaporated. And I could also safely take hidden bases. Even if we would go there to attack it, I would be able to do a lot of damage with my mobile composition. I hope you liked this game. If you want to see more analysis, or if you want to see something specific, feel free to comment. I'm also happy for everybody who subscribes, and thank you for watching.